Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a quick process video for you today. I haven't done a lot of process videos working through Red Sea rules because it's really just kind of a note heavy project for me. There's just a lot of, scriptures and different things that I'm working through, but I had someone leave a comment, and so I thought maybe I would just go ahead and show you kind of how I'm approaching this study. I'm still working through it and how I'm using the journal that I created to do that. I'll link the video down below showing the setup for this little junk journal that I created. But I first wanted to just kind of show you the actual study kind of itself. I'm going to be working on Rule 7 today. And so you can see I've already gone through and read everything. And I just have kind of underlined and highlighted and made some notes and things that I wanted to include in here. And then I actually am answering the study questions in a separate traveler's notebook. I didn't want, those were kind of personal answers and things that I was, kind of working through. And so I didn't want them to be in here. I have them in one of the traveler's notebooks that they came out with for this kit. So this is kind of how I just went through here. And there are some points on here that were kind of made that's talking about practicing the presence of God. And there's like 4 steps, and I want to include those in here. So I just have them kind of marked, and I'm going to set that off to the side. And then this is my journal. I just kind of created a little junk style journal for this using just some papers and things that I had around, some vintage papers that came from my House of Books subscription, and then just some other things. That's where this fabric came from. And then some past Bythewell4God paper and just different things to go along with this kit. So I am on day 7. So day 6 kind of finishes here at the end of one of my signatures. So I'm actually going to start day 7 here. But I have already sort of written out, you can see these are all my notes. So I have some quotes from the devotional. I have the flashcards that have scriptures on them. I have lots of journaling cards. These are the ones that came with the kit this time. I also pulled out some of the, these are the classics in the shop, the little library cards. This is actually from an old kit. So I just have a lot of these. And then of course, all the flashcards, and then another quote. You can see I have a lot of notes. So I did all of that off camera, obviously. So you don't want to see me just writing down a lot of notes, but this is why working through this book is taking me a little bit of time. So I'm choosing to spend my time doing this and studying these scriptures out instead of really doing a lot to like art processes. And so I didn't really know if that would be interesting, but I thought maybe it would just be kind of helpful to see when I create a junk journal like this, how I kind of work through getting all of these elements sort of in here. So you can kind of see some of these pages, and I'll do a flip through of this when I'm completely finished, as I usually do. But so these are all the notes and things that I'm working with. And I already have, pockets created from when I set up this journal, a couple of them. So I'm going to be utilizing a lot of those today. And I'm just going to put you on fast forward and get started. And there's not really a whole lot to this part of the process. I'm also going to be using this little mini mini note folder that Bythewell4God actually just came out with as part of their new release. These were intended to go with Red Sea Rules last month, but I'm not actually sure if these are in the shop anymore. But I just got mine in the mail today, so I'm going to use this to create a little pocket, I think, over here. And so I'm going to put you on fast forward, and then I'm just basically going to be kind of trying to find a home for all these notes, and that's going to be pretty much it. Just kind of working my way through all of the different things that I have here. So I'm going to put you on fast forward, and we'll get all of this Rule 7 documented here in my journal. Okay, so this part's really going to be kind of just a lot of arranging, rearranging, and gluing things down. But the first thing that I want to do is indicate that this is Rule 7. So I'm using the stamp set that came with the kit, and I just used that, some archival ink in black, wrote out the rule on that front page, drew a line, and I'm going to call that good for now. I know I want to decorate that, but I'll come back to that later. Now I'm going to use this little mini file folder that I talked about. I'm gluing the sides shut so that it actually works more like a pocket. And then I'm gluing this down to the page. And then on the top of this page, I will add one of these little quotes that I have from the devotion, or not the devotional, from the Red Sea Rules book. And I just have this written out on a little journaling spot that I have. I've had these in my stash for a while. And so there's not going to be a whole lot of decoration necessarily on this particular page. I'm just tucking some of the journaling cards in there. These are not in any particular order from how they work, from how they came out of Rule 7. They've all kind of gotten mixed around. I'm just kind of pulling them randomly and putting them in here. And I'm going to try to kind of get an idea for how I want to do things. There is a page here where I know I want to document some things on one of those dot grid pages. So I'm just trying to lay out everything where I want it for now. This is some old Bythewell4God paper from a previous kit. I'm just using this. I thought it worked well with this, and I'm just going to glue this down. And then I'm going to include this little quote up here on the top as well. And, you know, this isn't a huge journal, the size of this journal, so it doesn't take much to kind of fill up a page. So I'm just trying to make sure that I can get everything in here. And then I just trimmed off the excess. This page, I know I want to have, I want to put some notes from the book there. And so I'm trying to make sure I have everything kind of evenly dispersed up to that point, because that's the one of the page that I know that I want to use. So on this kind of white paper, this is actually Tomo River paper that I included in my journal here. I included one of the clear stickers just because I feel like they show up really well on that paper. And now I am using, this is actually some Tim Holtz backdrops paper here to create another little pocket down here on the bottom side. This Tomo River paper is a great paper. It's just really thin. So having the pocket on there is just going to help. And then I'm going to add this label that has another quote from the book on it. I just want to kind of knock back the white just a little bit. Obviously the background paper is white, but it's not quite bright white as that sticker was. So anyway, so now I'm going to add a little piece of ephemera here. I did go around and ink the outside of that with some vintage photo archival ink. And then I'm just going to trim off the excess. I just wanted to knock a little bit of the white back, but not completely. And, you know, ordinarily I would probably trim those ephemera pieces down a little bit, trim out some of that white, but I'm just not spending the time to do that right now. So I have had a really busy month. We are in the middle of doing a kitchen remodel, and it has now finally gotten to the point where I can start like putting away all of my things. And so I've been trying to get all of that organized, and I just haven't had a lot of extra time. So the time that I do have, like I said, I am using that for the notes and everything. So I'm not super art focused on this particular, you know, in terms of doing a bunch of different techniques and, you know, mixed media kind of things. I'm really just kind of utilizing the pieces that came with the kit. So I'm using the ephemera pieces and then just creating pockets and things. And then that's what I did here on this page. I just, because the background paper already had such a beautiful pattern on there, that's some coffee dyed paper, it didn't really take much to do, you know, and I still have an interesting background. And then I can just create a couple little pockets here. This is an old Bythewell4God paper as well that I'm adding over here to create a little like tuck spot on the side so that I can add even more of these notes on here. And then I'm going to do that same thing on this other coffee dyed paper. This is again another leftover paper from an old Bythewell4God kit. So I save all of those papers and use them in other projects, or like this when they, especially like with the kind of neutral ones, they just are working really well in here. So I'm creating another pocket here. and tucking in some more notes, and then another ephemera piece. I actually bought a second set of the ephemera just because I knew I would be using that for the majority of decorating these pages. So I do have quite a bit of pieces of ephemera because I did that. So I glued this down and then trimmed off the little bit of excess that was hanging over. And now on this last page here, I want to include some of the points that were made. This is talking about the practice of the presence of God and how to do that. And so I'm just going to write out those 4 points. I used the number stickers that came with this kit that have that floral pattern on them. And then when I got finished, I just realized I had gone like kind of too far over to the left with everything. And so just to kind of balance that out, I'm going to add a little strip of pattern paper down the right side. And this is also, I specifically chose this particular paper because this is the same paper that is on the first page for Rule 7. So I want it to kind of be obvious that all of these pages kind of go together. And then I felt like it still needed something down at the bottom, so I'm adding some of this trim that I got from Hobby Lobby, and then I'm going to add this in a couple places. I'm using some Helmar 450 quick dry for this lace. You could use Fabri-Tac or whatever. And then I want to add a little bit down here at the bottom of this little file folder, just to add a little bit of interest. Again, I'm not, spending a ton of time decorating the pages, but it just felt like it needed something. And then I decided to kind of tie everything in together. I'm going to do that on this page, on this first page as well. So I'm gluing down the trim here down along the bottom, and then I'm going to add that ephemera piece there in the corner as well, just to kind of pull all of these elements together. It's going to be real simple. You're going to do kind of flip through here. You can kind of see all of the little pages, but that's pretty much it for me. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. If you like this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.